Hello everybody, it's SuffolkBlue, all the way from merry old England. How the devil are you? I hope you're well. Welcome back to Starmade. Welcome back to our Altairs Prime base here in the Altair system. And as you can see, we have done a little bit of work. It is completed in the sense that the actual structure is now there of the dome, as you can see. Let me try and explain where I started from. So, from the base then we did that the light grey hull to a certain level. Then we started to taper it up a little bit. And then I decided to take that all the way through to the central core belt. And then mirror that on all four sides, which sounds stupid when you're talking about a dome. But actually, as you can see quite clearly, there are four very defined areas of the dome. All of this yellow is actually, I think that's what it's called. I want to call it Luctra, but let me have a look and see what it's called. It's called Lucra. It's just a mineral, and the reason we've used that is not because I want that to be yellow, in fact far from it. What I'm going to have, these four quadrants are going to be glass. Absolutely just glass. But in order to try and lay glass, and let me get into the build mode and I'll show you. Laying glass in build mode is without doubt one of the hardest things I have ever attempted to try and do, ever. Let's do a build helper. Let's do an ellipsoid at 85 by 60 by 85. Oops, come on, like so. Pop that in the right spot. Let's stick our X-plane and our YZ plane down. So there we go. You can see now the problem. If you're trying to lay glass on something which looks, and I'm sorry if you've got sensitive eyes because that might be really serious for you actually, but let's go outside of it. But if you're trying to lay glass in that white mesh, let me tell you, it's almost impossible. So Aylad came up with an idea and said, well, remember that there is the replace function, and I'll show you that in a second. There is a replace function, which means that actually you don't have to put the glass in first, as long as you're going to use something which you're happy that you're not going to use in your main build afterwards. You can just use that. But this is the dome from the outside. You can see it's a pretty good size. And you can see as I pull back a little bit more, there's the planet. So it's a pretty good size all the way around, and this mesh is really helpful if you're trying to find blocks which are out of place. So let's just zoom up here. I don't think there are any up this top, but if there was a block out of place, it's actually really easy to see. Anything which doesn't fall within a white grid is just wiped out straight away. It really does stand out, but laying the things is quite another matter altogether. Let's take off that builder now. Let's clear the helper. Let's unset those two as well, just so we can see the thing from the outside without that grid on. There you go. And what we're going to do is areas like this, we're going to start with. Today we're going to look at just building in our entrance and exits. You can also see that I've designed a logo now for my empire. It's a stylized A for Altairs, really. With what I thought was going to be a sword in the middle and a sun on top. But then looking at it now, it looks like some sort of eye, but as in like I for India, I for Imperium, or something like that. But in essence, it's an A, stylized A, with a sword in the middle and a star on top. And you can see that I did it on both sides inside as well. I wanted it on each four of those corners. In fact, I designed it over here. So this is probably an easier way of seeing what it looks like. Out of red, this is just red soil or red dirt that we're using here. But you can see the A, you can see the sword in the middle and the star on top. Excellent. So let's look then at whether or not we can do some of this replace job. I have made some glass. Alright, we haven't got anywhere near enough, let me be clear, but we're not building the whole thing today. Let's go back to here and go to the remove and replace filter. I want to replace with an active slot, and anything, what I want to get rid of is Lucta. So H-I, look, I just saw something there. Lucra, here it is. Why did you not change? Lucra. Okay. So now what that means is, with just a right click, See? Now that hasn't got rid of the blocks. The blocks are absolutely still there. Alright, so it's still got a block in place. But what it is doing is removing, and we can do everything on the outside first and then we'll go on the inside. This is going to take a while. I'm not doing it all on camera today. Don't panic. I shall do this off camera so that you haven't got to sit here and watch. But you can see 37, 38, 40 at the bottom there. You can see the lucra counting up, and every time I click a replace job, just the lucra, nothing else. You can't click on the grey hull, look. That's having no effect, just the lucra. And I'm able to go around and remove all the lucra and replace it just with glass. And the really good thing is because this is correct, that is to say that the lucra has all been placed completely accurately in accordance with the framework of the ellipsoid that we were making, is that there are no mistakes. All I have to do is right click it. One assumes that I could make this bigger, in fact. If I go to control and I do that, oh, that's lengthwise, we don't want lengthwise. Let's have that way around. See? And I can make that as big as I like, and then we can go around and I can remove all the unnecessary lucra. And that's all we're doing, we're removing it. And making it into just glass. So all of this will be glass only. Yeah, makes sense. Easily done, and it, as I say, absolutely accurate. There can be no mistakes, there's no gaps, nothing's missing. And then what we'll have is the dome going all the way up in the air. As I say, I'm not going to do it live on camera now for you because it would be the most monotonous thing on the planet. But the glass is going to go all the way up these yellow lucra sides, so there'll just be 4 glass sides within this dome. And then what we're going to do? Well, what we will do, probably from about this level across here, is we will place in our floor level all the way across to separate the hangar at the bottom here from the deck quarters and everything else above. 6 layers below from the top, so to about here, probably a bit more lower, about there, we're going to tile off as well. And everything above that is going to be glass, and we'll turn that into gardens. So you'll be able to see all the gardens and everything at the top here with trees and water and rocks and all that sort of stuff. And what we haven't built yet, which is what we'll look at I think a little bit today, is we'll also then build as the central column that will run all the way through the middle of this, have the power core going through the middle of it, and we will have the command center, the Senate, will be on the top here. And this will probably be another type of mushroomed dome, but a real dome as opposed to a squat dome. This is a squat dome because it's only 60 blocks high, so it's 85 by 85 by 60 rather than 85 by 85 by 85, which would be an actual half a sphere. But this is a squat dome, so instead we're going to have probably either a tower jutting out of this. It doesn't have to be a dome, it may not be. It could just be a tower, which I sort of make the top look a bit rough, so the tower keeps going up. Probably have sort of a slant on the top of it, have some antenna and stuff poking out the top, and in there will be the Senate, the control room for the base and everything. And we will have our lifts, so we'll actually have to have some lifts in here to enable us to get from the ground floor, from the cargo landing area, all the way up into here. Oh, sound complicated enough for you all? I think it's complicated enough. What we will also do though is, if I come underground, which is harder than it's probably needs to be, is that there is, although if I can find the way through, here you go, underneath our dome, underneath our dirt dome, are areas like this. And this is going to become, this is part of the old level of the planet, so the planet we've sort of built across it, if you like, and these bits here, for example, that needs to go. Oh, I can't because I've got replace on, that's correct. But all of this down here is going to become the Undercity, and we can build in here, put in some buildings, etc. And we'll have a way of being able to get to the Undercity from the Outlast Prime city above, so there'll be a lift or something, or some way of getting through. What I do want to look at doing probably is taking some of this floor out and using a mesh and grill effect, along with actually I can come out of build mode now, a mesh and grill effect, so like grating along the floor, so it's as if you're walking along grates, and we'll have some lights under the floor as well to start bringing it in. And we will also be using some of this stuff, yellow hazard armor, which is quite a pain to make actually. We want some dark grey hull. Let's go and have a look at building one of these doors straight off the bat. Now have I got the clear lucra? We'll clear that. So now we're on a normal. Let's clear that down to 1 by 1 as well. We need to find the right place to enter and exit. Probably here might be a good area. And what we want to do, it's got to be tall enough, remember, to be able to get I wonder if I should put my, I probably should put the oops, let's do that, let's do that, let's put our X and Y planes back on again, because we do want to mirror these doorways so that they are the same on each side. But we don't need the, whoops, we don't need the build helper for this. I'm thinking that we could probably 5, 6. Is that coming apart halfway? It is. Okay. That should be enough hangar space, I would have thought. We obviously need to do the same over here. How high did we make that doorway? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So this will be the same height on this side. Whoops. Let's put that back. Grey hull. Yeah, 5, 6, that's correct. Let's just knock that one out as well. And these will be our hangar doors at this level. Now, we are going to have, obviously we're struggling to be able to get any large vessels in here, but that's okay, because what I'm going to have on the dome itself is probably some landing pads for larger vessels, like docking claws, or docking places for larger vessels. So if I just knocked holes in as I have, let's put them back. There, there. It's okay. Let's take these out. And what we'll do, we'll use some rails, because I understand that rails are the way to do this. Let's put that back. So there we go. That's one of our main hangar doors. And you can see straight away we've got outside, we've got the worst possible thing, which is like cliffs. Now I'm going to try and flatten some of those down as much as I can, bearing in mind that on the other side is the other half of the planet, if you like, which we will also have to mess around with so that we have good runways to be able to get in and out of these bays. But I do want these to have closing doors. Potentially also with, oops, I'm messing up that floor, something chronic, I'll sort that out. But also with force fields, so that we can have two sets of doors, if you like, that close. Let's just put these back in, like so. There we go. Lovely. So those are the main hangar doors. Now how tall is our ship? Is it exactly 6? That's going to be really difficult to get through. I think these are going to have to be taller. Quite obviously. Because our ship isn't going to be able to fit, even our mining ship may not fit through there, let alone, oh, our shuttles will. Because I've got some ideas for shuttles coming in mind. Okay, well let's go mega high. Well, not mega high, we'll go up another few. And let's see what this one looks like. We'll have to get rid of those trees on the other side as well. You can go back there for a second. Oops. So those trees are going to be gone anyway, so don't worry too much about taking those out. There. Gives a little bit of clearance room. Let's have a look from the outside. Yeah. Better. Much, much better. And what we will end up doing is probably... This is doing 4 of these, I assume. So we're going to need to make a lot more of these anyway. There. And we're now out. But if you can imagine... Did I do the same the other side? I did. If you can imagine, we're going to have this yellow hazard armour on the inside to really show off where the doorway is going to be. We'll also have it on the outside, so it will go up, and actually where these 2 blocks are here, it'll go up here as well on both sides. Okay, we'll take out that lip there, and then this middle bit is where the runner's going to be, or the rails will be, and then I've got to go online and look at the ways in which I can make buttons and doors to make those open. Does that make sense? So we'll be able to fly in, so literally you'll fly in like that. So we'll come in, we'll probably have sides which have got like in and out maybe, or we'll do different sides of the base. It's got to make sense. We'll have to do some runners in the inside, like some markings, like runway markings and stuff. So how tall is this? So I'm going to need to take this, I think it goes to here. But that just allows us to bring in the small ships, and I think the important thing is that if you're, in any case, if you were flying large-scale motherships, capital ships, you know, carriers or really large transports, is that you should really have on board either transporters or you should have shuttlecraft, and you take shuttlecraft down to the surface. As I say, I don't really want to land giant like battle cruisers and stuff on the planet, because I just don't think that makes any sense. Is that the same size? Let's have a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excellent. So those will be our ways ins and our ways outs. The next thing, if we go to control, and if we go to build helper, and I'm going to want to circle. Okay. I don't know how big that radius is. It's not very big, so I'm going to put it at something like 65. 65, what is that? That would be the height of the dome, wouldn't it? Okay. So, build helper. Circle. X rotation. If I put that at 180... and then we... Oops, that goes out so far. Let's just do a small one, like... I just want to see whether I've got that 880 the right way around. 25, let's try that. Apparently not. Now I would have thought that would have been right. So circle, okay. Y rotation. 90. Let's do both of those to 90. Yeah! That's the one. That's the bunny. Let's go up in the air. And you can see on the floor... So that's 35. What we need to do, if I just pop that in place for a second, let's have a look. That gives us this much space. I wonder how much space that gives us up the top there. Not a lot. I'd much rather... Where's the centre, do we reckon? So if I put in... Hold on, let's put in the grey blocks, and we can work this out easy enough. 2, 3, 4... That means our radius from the middle, which is this one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 is our radius to that one. So if we go to here then, and I do that, and I do clear helper, and I do build helper, circle, okay, 90 degrees rather than 180, because all I did last time was flip it itself. Let's do 90 on its y axis. What did I say? 18. Boom. Let's have a look. How much space is that going to give us? That shouldn't be too bad, really. That shouldn't be too bad, because yeah, I'm using the right one. Let's just put a marker on the ground and then we'll go and have a look at how big that's going to be. Bearing in mind that really all this has got to hold is the main power core, which is easy, which will run straight through the middle of the whole base, and it needs to hold some elevators or lifts so that we can get up and down. And luckily it's got these lovely flat sides which we can turn into sort of elevator-ish type rooms either side, with one of these doors, one of those flat edges being a door into the power area as opposed to a lift, maybe. But that gives us a lovely huge amount of space down here in the cargo area. Yeah, I think that sort of makes sense. We can build this up. Obviously I'll do this off camera, you don't need to see me do that. Let me take off that clear helper, now that we know it's 18, and that will nicely nestle into the top here, or at least it will mirror that size so it just looks about right. But you can imagine you're flying in here, there's a load of like cargo drop areas and landing bay pads and all of the good stuff that you expect to see. We're going to have some grates on the floor, some cargo marked out areas where actual cargo boxes will be, and we will store stuff in the cargo holds. I want like gangways, some of those over walking, you know, those walkways which are made of like scaffolding and stuff. I want those. Yeah, lights. I want movable open doors. I want buttons. I want cargo lifters. Because it's the sort of, it's the hub, it's the coming in and going out place. Then you'll have these will be automatic doors into lifts, which can take you up, and you go up and you go up and you go up and you go up and you go up, and then you get to the first level, which would be somewhere about here. And then you've got deck space. You'll have living quarters, barracks, armories, medical bays, all the other necessary stuff. You would then get back in the lift again. Whoops, didn't want to press R. Get back on the lift again, and you can go up to the next deck level, or the next deck level, or the next deck level, or come out into the garden area at the top here. And then in the middle here will be another lift, a secure lift, whoops, which you can go in, which would take you up, 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 and into the tower, into the Senate, into the Praetor's throne room. We're calling it the throne room because it's the Praetor. Yeah, that's the plan. And then also one of these lifts would also be able to take you down, although I'll probably have to make that, but it would take you down into the Undercity as well. How does that sound? Yeah? Good. The next thing we want to look at, though, is not necessarily building. I'll do a lot of this off camera because I know you guys don't want to watch me do all of that nonsense, although I'll talk about it as we do step by step by step. I need to make a lot more of those. I'll also get all this turned into glass by then as well. The next thing to talk about as well is that we've just had an update to this, which is all about engines. All about thrust. Now, these apparently aren't on anymore. Calibrate thrusters, that's brand new. Never done any of that. Look at it! I can do inert, auto dampeners. Holy cow. So, can I take off? Is there a way of even taking off anymore? Am I stranded forever? Oh, I made a medical supply as well. That was pretty good. That's healed me up quite a lot. I suffered some injury from some pirates that shot me. Let's just do up our... Oops. Let's do up that. Let's do up that. camera at the front. Out the door. Oh, stuck. So this is now to do with engine thrust. And whether we have the engine thrust necessary to fly. I think we do. We seem to. We're out. So we were able to take off at least. Oh, it holds its speed now. It used to drop. It doesn't anymore. It used to drop. So we can now do... Oh, the slowing is really bad. Because it's all about now the placement of engines, the type of reactionary controls you've got, all of that malarkey. If I turn the ship around though. There's the dome, look, you can see it on that you can see it on the planet. It looks massive. It looks massive. Let's have a look. So you can't see anything in here, obviously. Nothing's changed there. Are we moving towards that planet? Do you know what I think we were? Are we moving? We shouldn't be. I did stop us before we moved. Right, so we can go back in there. Can we land this thing is the next question. It's quite handy that I don't have to keep pushing forward on the button. Obviously we could go through the roof as well at the moment. I wish they'd fix this though. Because you don't want planets to look like this as you're coming into land, do you? So the big ships would stay in orbit above the planet, as is expected, and you would take a shuttlecraft down, or you'd transport. I need to build a transport room, that's the next thing we need as well down here. Let's slow this down, because this was a pig to slow. Here we go, we're coming in. I need to get some stop cubes. Oh, gravity just took over then all of a sudden. And then trying to get in here is going to be a pain, clearly. Where's the... I've got to try and find my proper stop point. So betting it's on the other side. There it is. There. Well, we managed to land it. Whew. Yeah, that's going to be a pain. So these, we will be able to do it. Let's open that up and put the ramp out. So I think we'll be able to do it, but we are going to have to look at our engine placements. We are going to have to look at how all of those things fit together and work together. But you saw us, we were able to do it at least. So off camera then, what's going to happen? Whew, all of the yellow will be taken out and replaced with glass. I will build in the first level, as in the first cylinder, and I'll also build in the floor plate of the uppermost part of the cargo hold. So the cargo hold would all become almost, if you like, self-contained. And then we'll bring you back, and then we'll start looking at layouts, and we'll start doing some decorating. We do also need to look at building probably a smaller craft, like a little shuttle that I can take backwards and forwards to the shop, because that's going to be a pig to fly. So we are going to have either a transporter. This is a sort of transporter, though it's a heavy one. Probably don't need quite as much of that, although that is a transporter, but with all that extra gubbins on it. But we'll build a shuttle. We also need to look at building a proper warship, or our first fighter. Now, I was glad I've waited now for these engines to be done, the engine upgrade, because now I can go and watch people like Aylad and see how they've going to master the engines. I like the fact that these engines now turn off, so that's pretty cool. But there we go. So lots and lots and lots of progress, lots and lots of design work done. Hopefully you can start to see some of my vision coming forward. Hopefully the next time we see it, which will actually be after the new year now. There'll be this is the last episode which will go out this week, and then there'll be a break for Christmas and New Year and all that sort of stuff. And then when we come back in the new year, you'll see a lot of this has been made, a lot of this has been done. Hopefully I'm going to start putting in a few details as well and making it start looking a little bit more, less blocky, a little bit more intricate. We've got to use some slab work as well. But there we go. So hopefully you can start to see the vision beginning to pull together. If you've liked what you've seen today, please leave a like. Any comments, any suggestions? Thanks to the guys who pointed out to me that Aylad's link was wrong in the description. That has now been fixed. So please do and go check out the Red Panda. I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. Do enjoy it. Be safe, have fun. And I'll see you for more fun in Starmade next year. Sounds strange when you say it like that. Take care of yourselves. Have a good Christmas. Laters.